Hello and welcome to the Blender Render Roast, where you submit your artwork, we review it and give you feedback to improve. I'm your host, Daerik. Okay, now the first submission is from, let me just check, Turtlelag. He was using a new type of renderer to improve his skills, and he decided to use a glass shader and make a simple scene just to make himself more acquainted with the new renderer. So it looks really good. He has a little bit of depth of field, as you can see on the foreground cups. But I do think it is a little too simple. It was an experiment, so that's okay. It looks good either way. But maybe you can try adding some liquor to the cups. Just fill them up a little bit. Maybe make a little model, or try doing some fluid simulation. Whatever you think it's best. As for the rest, I'm not sure I like the roof you have here. I would imagine this scene is in a bar, so they usually have some light bulbs on top, or yeah, I don't really know, something like that. Maybe another row of wine cups. I don't think I can draw it too well here, but you know, the upside down ones. Oops. Just some ideas. Maybe you can even try removing some of the cups and adding something else, like a bowl of peanuts, for example. Just to give more life to the scene. So yeah, to recap, it looks really good. I know you're just trying to learn a new renderer. You use the Lux Core renderer. I never heard of it, so I'm not familiar. But yeah, try working with some extra elements, adding some liquid to the cups, maybe adding some extra cups on top, or removing some and adding something else to the scene. Alright, thank you for your submission, Turtlelag. It is awesome. Great caustics. Let's see. You can see some noise here, but the light is noiseless. It's weird. Yeah, the caustics certainly look good. I now need a comparison render made in cycles just to see what it looks like. But yeah, thank you. The next submission is from Jeb. He says something looks weird, but he can't quite figure out what it is. So let's take a closer look. We got here some sort of mountain climber or a spacesuit man. And then there's this sort of railroad tube. Now, what I think looks weird is the proportion of the objects. You've got a mountain, what's it called? A mountain range here, which should be like super tall and super large, and then you get a tube with almost the same size. So maybe making this tube smaller, and I guess the guy too, that should help make this scene more consistent, more natural, I'd say. Other than that, you can see there's a lot of snow on top of everything. Maybe you can try adding some little snow particles. I shouldn't do this many dots, otherwise I'm gonna run out of Ctrl Z's. What else? Maybe, oh yeah, that's a good point. You should probably remove the snow from underneath the railroad here, because it is obstructing whatever snow falls into it. Not an exact like straight shadow on top. Do a little feathering, you know. But yeah, just have some exposed rock underneath. That would look great. The guy has some sort of flashlight, it seems. It's very small. A very small device. Maybe it's a lantern, judging by the way lighting things up. Perhaps adding a spotlight over here. Like he's pointing into it. Make it look a little more dark. It seems you have some sort of vignette effect on the corners here, but not on the bottom. So that's a little inconsistent. Yeah, I think that's all the feedback I can give you. So let's recap. You got a mountain range, and yet you got a super large railroad tube system. So try scaling the railroad down a little bit. I recommend adding a exposed rock underneath the railroad, as if the tube is blocking snow from hitting that spot. Try adding a spotlight to where your guy is pointing his flashlight. I assume it's a flashlight. And maybe get a vignette for the whole image, not just the top corners. Alright, Jab, thank you for your submission. Now next we have Parallel Mayhem, a low poly scene with a cherry blossom tree, or maybe something else, on top of a lake. Alright. Let's see, the lake looks beautiful, very realistic, and it doesn't... what's the word? It's not chaotic with the scene. You can assume this is in the same universe, even if it has a realistic feel. The tree, it looks like a cube or pentagon, and that's alright. It creates a nice sort of shading effect here. That's cool. We've got a whole lot of cubes for the petals. That's alright. Some of them are floating, which looks great. I'm not sure about the different sizes here. I assume they're all cubes of the same size, but some of them look like just poles. Might be just perspective. What is this flying in the background? A rocket? Looks a little too simple for a rocket. But to leave a smoke trail like that. A plane perhaps? You need a longer tail. So yeah, I recommend you rework this guy right here. Make it slightly more complex. Otherwise the shape is hard to figure out. I really don't like how far away this little island is from the water. Usually that's not how water degrades stone and earth. It tries to form little islands, so spherical shapes. You could even add some sand over here. Because like, how can someone climb on top of this thing? You need to bring a ladder to the water. Ladder? Yeah, ladder. Yeah. Nice gradient on the background. Smooth yet simple. I like the clouds, they're very random. And I think you just use a displacement map on top of a simple object. You stretch some, like this guy. So instead of stretching the displaced object, try... Where's my mouse? Try creating a capsule type of shape, and then adding the displacement, it won't look sharp like this guy. Yeah, I'm not sure about this part as well, the whole round thing, the whole ring thingy. Alright, cool, Vector. It's always nice to hear. What could you add here? Maybe some more grass? Yeah, make it a little more slanted, not such a harsh angle. So maybe go over here, then there. Yeah. Adding some grass to the sides would be great. You have a grass model over here, but you only use it on the island. I think that's kind of a waste. And I find it a little strange too for you to have grass over here and right behind it some snow. It's like the height of your scene is not correct. For it to have snow without actually having snow, you need it to be like super high. So maybe try bringing this whole thing on the foreground down, and have the mountains in the back stand out more. Speaking of bringing it down, I guess you could remove this part over here. It's just in the way. No. Let's see if I crop it. Here. Okay, I don't know how to use this. Yeah, thought so. If you crop it like this, you guys think it looks better or worse? I don't know, I like it a little more. It's not a huge issue, I just like it a little more. But yeah, let's recap. Try making less harsh angles for when Earth meets water. So rounder shapes, they go on longer. Rework that flying object over there. I can't identify what it is. When doing clouds and you want them to be a little longer, don't stretch the displaced object. Stretch it before displacing so the shape can adapt. And try bringing your mountain range higher so the snow makes more sense. A touch better in your opinion, alright. You also have a grass model here, a very low poly grass. It's just some plains that I think you could use on the green parts of your scene. Not all of them, just some to add more life. But your tree looks great, so good job. Alright, thank you, Parallel. The next submission is from... you don't have a name. Hold on. What is your Discord tag in that case? Because I need to call you something, or else just call you smiley face. Ah, that's Vector. Okay, that's why I didn't recognize you. Vector, your submission is here. So you made this little robot. I got the previous one here. And Joey reviewed it on the last render roast. So with the feedback, you created this new one. So I've just reviewed the previous one. It seems you don't use denoiser, which I think would work great. Your cables are a little rigid. I don't know how cables can make this sort of shape in the air. I'm not sure what those tubes are, but they're not connected to anything. Seems to be the guy's legs, the guy's feet. So his knees bend backwards. Alright, that's a choice, no problem. And I like his smiley face. He looks happy, although he is recharging. Yeah, maybe changing his face to be just a lightning bolt for it to be recharging, or maybe a battery would be great. But yeah, Joey must have said some similar stuff, so I'll just go into the new guy. So, it is very dark. That's why I have this dark gray background, so it's kind of easier to see. Let me remove all this stuff. He now has a little brother. The cables are still rigid. Go straight and then down. It should just go like a little straight and then it falls. It goes over here and then go back. But never lifting up the ground. Then when it reaches the socket, it can float a little bit. Yeah, it didn't. Looks like it didn't change the cable on the orange guy. It's still a happy little face. This guy has a mouth. What else? Yeah, this guy looks more like a dog. It's a little more charismatic. Cute, you should say. Well, yeah, the lack of lighting is really concerning. An effect that I think would look really great with this style is to, instead of using normal shapes for the faces, you make only squares. So like you got 4 squares there, then 4, 7 here, 4 again, and make it pixelated, you know, like those squares are composed of even more squares, and add an emissive material to that so it lights up his face a little bit, or maybe an invisible area lamp for it to light up what's in front of him. You know when you're in the middle of the night and you go check your phone, how it lights up everything it is pointing to? I think that's the sort of effect you should look into. But yeah, it looks really cute and low poly. So let's recap. You should be careful when making cables. They are not that rigid. Try maybe find a cable on your house and see how it works, how it falls down. I won't repeat the whole comment on pixels on the screen, but try to replicate a cell phone screen for your robot's face. And yeah, I just feel like it lacks light. It's very hard to see. You can make it look darker by adding some more dim lights. Also, the light source here seems to be from a window, and the light is the moonlight. Oh yeah, in this case, it looks like you added some denoise. It's a little hard to see. Maybe use the default settings, which are not ideal. Always use a low strength setting on the denoise. I use 0.2. It's the second bar here. This one. I don't remember the interface, but yeah. Thank you for your submission, Vector. Lighting was a struggle. Oh, you know, it usually is, but you get used to it and you improve. The next submission is from Sneaky Snack. Now, this seems to be a beginner, and he submitted 2 artworks. A donut, which is a classic beginner tutorial, and a planet. A low poly planet without smooth shading. Now, I worked on a game called Astronaut, and we used procedural planets that the little squirrel had to traverse, and I used a very similar style. I grabbed a U-sphere, I randomly selected, there's actually a function called random select, randomly selected some faces, extruded them, and added a little bevel for it to look a little more natural. So what I learned from that, I even use straight up materials, no textures, is that if you use a texture, it looks really great. We had some water material, water planets and lava planets, and we made them slightly transparent, and it looks way cooler than the rest. So try looking into, let me write it down. Oops. UV mapping. Okay, right now if a mouse is a struggle. Oh god. UV mapping. So you can texture it. And oh yeah, another thing. And these two images, they have different aspect ratios. I'm not sure if this is a render, but this is most definitely not. So what you're doing is you're making a preview, pressing Ctrl Z, or just changing the little icon on the interface, and then taking a screenshot. What you should do is spawn a camera. You can see them on the tab here. I should probably open Blender in a moment here to show. I'll do that. Let me open up Blender, and then I'll explain what I'm trying to say. You should have a camera on your scene so you can actually render what you're seeing, and it's gonna look a lot better, and you're not gonna have your cursor on your image. Denoising post-production, not in the render. That must be why it looks grainy in some parts. But yeah, for the donut itself, is actually well done for a beginner. Some people tend to make it straight here, or they don't do the shading properly. So he did that well enough. Blender is still opening. Come on, I got a demonstration to do. It's taking sweet time. What else can I say? Yeah, you could probably do some transparency on the materials. I would imagine you're using the Blender render on top there instead of the Cycles, which is the most common render engine. So there is a transparency setting for Blender render materials, so try exploring that if you don't want to switch to Cycles. I know I had my doubts at first. I really like the Blender render, so it took me like a year to move on to Cycles. Okay, Blender is just not gonna open, so I hope you know how to find a camera icon on the Objects tab. Alright, so thank you Sneaky Snack for your submission. Next one we have Vector again with a very cool looking alien ship. Let's see, your background looks great. I do believe that's just a internet image, so hard to get it wrong. And you got some grains over there. That must be your post-production denoiser or bad settings on the denoiser. I like this, but I think it goes for too long. Like those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there, you could probably remove. Like what is this stuff even? Is it like a shield to move it over there? It's a nice texture here. It's like a snake texture, some scales. I really like the vectorized textures here. Some clean lines. Although, judging by the repeating pattern over here, I'd say you used some subdivision surface to get that kind of topology, and then you used a wireframe modifier to get it to show up. Yeah. Actually, everything is in wireframe. Huh. Took me a while. I thought you had vents over here, but no, that's just a very high segmented bevel. Huh. Cool effect. Over here too. It looks really cool, don't get me wrong. And what is this part? There's some sort of blue light. It seems to be reflecting on something physical here, so this thing exists. Maybe remove this and add the neon light, like trail to it. Ooh, a trail look really cool, actually. Like this. Rocket League has some really cool examples for trails, so you might want to look into that. Lighting fail. Maybe you can find. I never found one, but maybe you can find a space HDRI. Oh, actually, I should look into that. Hold on. Let's look. Space HDRI. Yeah, we got some. So yeah, take those. Alright, cool. Let's try and recap. The spaceship looks really cool. I think you could remove some of those shields or wherever they are. If you remove 6, I'll be happy enough. Try adding a trail, that'll look cool, and get a space HDRI. Might make your spaceship look like another level of cool. A discount store glab? I don't even know what that means. It's like you are in Walmart and the guy's saying, we got now a discount at the apples. You can get the apples for 50%, and it's just for 2 hours. So if you want to go to the fruit aisle, you can purchase some apples for 50%, like that. Anyway, thank you Vector for your submission. And next we have, did I skip one? No. Silver Blue Bunster, hard name to pronounce. This guy is most likely a Mega Man boss. I just can't tell who it is. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with the Mega Man universe. Like a ripoff Gleb Alexandrov, huh. Hello everyone, welcome to the Creative Shrimp. I'm Gleb, and drink some coffee now. I don't know how to make an impression of Gleb, but I get your point now. Anyway, the lighting here sure is an issue. You basically don't have one. It's just the gray world texture. That's your lighting, I believe. So get an HDRI. It should improve it tenfold. As for the materials, now we know they are all robots. Yet your gloves and everything that's red actually looks like clay or rubber. So you might be trying to replicate a a clay doll, a clay person, a clay material, like Play-Doh. But I don't think they're trying to do that. Here where we have a hard surface object, you can kind of tell it is made of plastic or metal. But not on the gloves. Maybe it's the lighting that's not doing it justice, so it can't really reflect well. So try looking into that. I think this part right here, the circle on his chest, could really use a emissive material, especially if you can combine with a tower shape to make it white and the rest blue, so it looks really cool and gives a little light away to his chest. That would be a great addition. I'm not sure about his eyes. They look a lot like Play-Doh, so he must be going for that effect. So yeah, it is really well modeled. I can tell. I don't know about your topology, but it is high poly and it looks great. So you know how to manipulate a model and make it look round and natural. Yeah, but you really gotta look into lighting or an HDRI and try adding an emissive material for the chest light of this guy. Alright, thank you Bunster for your submission. Now someone sent me a message. Okay, it's nothing important right now. So the next one is, let me just check. I'm afraid of skipping someone. This girl from Weekend. My turn on making a character. Focus on skin subsurface scattering. Painted the subdermal, the part underneath the skin, and applied it as SSS. I really want to make the skin pop even if it is a stylized character. It's rendered on Eevee. Oh yeah, it looks really great. Rendered. No noise at all. Like at all. So high quality render. The hair follicles, they have a very smooth curve, so really good job there. I can tell they're done in particles. Or can I? Hold on. The end here. It might be. Hold on, let me analyze. I don't know. It could be done with planes, because this could be a texture with an alpha channel, but this part would not show up, I think. Yeah, so I think you're using particles. I'm gonna go with that guess. Updated version. So now the background is a little gradient. Huh. She had short hair before. The hair behind her is a little better. Hold on, let me grab this image, put it on Krita, and we can analyze it in depth. Now one thing I must say is that this is beautiful. You did an amazing job, but man, this girl looks great. So congratulations on doing that. Now let's just check. Yeah, her, what's it called? It's what's this called? I forget. It's not a ring. It's a earpiece? Ear something? Alright. So yeah, I like it better like this. It's more subtle and you focus on her face and her skin, which is what you were trying to accomplish. The gloss on her lips looks great. Very well done. Few people get this right. And you even added a normal map for the lips effect. Good job there. Her eyes. I got some comments on her eyes. Let me get a white brush here. And just do... Okay, this is not gonna work on this side, but I think you get my point. You need to add a highlight to the eyes. It looks way more lively like this. Even if it is a fake one. Hey, Tundori, thank you for the follow. It looks way better this way. You can even add some more. Okay, maybe not like this. But when you don't have a highlight, the eyes look dead. Everything else is great. If you just make a simple circle in front of her eyes and add a little highlight, boom, it's done. You might even want to edit her eye texture to always have that highlight. The updated version? This is the updated version, right? This was the old one. Whoops. This is the updated. Oh, the old one had. Huh. Mark Watts, thank you for the follow. Did her rose improve at all? No, the rose stayed the same, but it looked great either way. Middle around here. So yeah, her hair looks a little more greasy. I'm not sure if you were going for that. And I'm not sure if you used the new principled hair shader. If you didn't, you should really look into that. Give me a hard time to do. No, third update. Oh god. Ah, there's more. Oh wait, I'm going backwards? Which one is the final one? Man. Seems to be going down, so this is the final version. I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong one. So we did add that ear thingy later. My apologies. Now we do have the final version. Ooh, her necklace changed. Now, you maintained a flat shading on her jewel. Let me just check. Yeah. It is not very noticeable, but I think you are okay. But what we usually do for jewels is we try adding a shader that identifies the hard edges and highlight that. It's very tricky to do, so a flat shading is a simpler solution. But that's okay. Is this normal? It's hard to tell, so that's okay. And now her hair is black. It's smoother. Yeah, way more combed. Yeah, now I have the highlight there. But not on this eye. Highlight is in a different spot. Huh. Now I have my doubts if you should always make a fake effect for the highlight, because it's not on her iris. Yeah, I don't know. You improved the normal map here. You lost a little bit of the glossiness, but it's still there. It's a little more subtle, so therefore more natural. You got a velvet material here, looks great. Actually, I think this is cloth. Yeah, the one where you have that extra setting that's this kind of lighting. Smooth, furry lighting. But yeah, this is beautiful, man. I don't know if you should have included particle hair eyebrows. Because now you see it's just a block of black. Huh. Okay, I got a recommendation. Move whatever lighting is causing this highlight to, oops, to the right. So it is inside the eye here and somewhat in the eyes here. It's gonna improve it a little bit. Yeah, this is beautiful. Why my droid tend to have forced exposure? The smile feels kind of forced and the eyes seem like they are looking at different directions. Huh. Oh. But I need to make a straight line. This is the middle. That's not straight. No, they are aligned. Must be the effect because this part of the eye is a little more skewed. So you can see a little white here, but not here. As for them looking the same direction, they're looking straight at the camera, maybe a little further. But it's the same direction. I don't know about her nose though. Seems a little too round. Yeah. It's cute, complement her style, but I don't know. That's all I have to say. Since you are on the stream, I guess I don't have to do a recap because it was a lot. But yeah, thank you Weekend for your submission. Next we have, whoops, don't. Where are we? It's a little hard to tell where Create is on the tabs. Just goes up a little bit. Another one from Vector. Seems to be just a simple corridor for a spaceship or something. Now, since it ends at nowhere, you can't really go left nor right. This must be some sort of gate. No problem, you're welcome. Thank you for showing up and watching. This must be some sort of gate, and therefore it has to open somehow. You don't have any panels on the insides, so try adding just a button. Like, boom, there's a button there. Great. You can press it in, you open. But I think a keyboard over here would be better. You don't really have any indentations like a cut on the metal. That's usually done very often in sci-fi designs. Like if the blue parts were inside the door a little bit, like you extrude it inwards, you add more depth and it would look a little better. And yeah, you got a lot more opportunity to add details over here, like a line that goes like this, or diagonal. So it lacks detail, even if your style is low poly. The lamps, I don't really like them. It's just a plane with a white emissive material. I always like to add 2 different color lightings and then mix them with a mix shader, so it has some color and bloom to it. And you should probably add a glare node on the composition layer. Always use the fog glow. Fog glow is all we always use, and you get a little effect for your lights. A work in progress to get used to space stuff. Okay, I see. I know that Blender Guru has a tutorial for a sci-fi corridor. I followed it like halfway through it, and it was very interesting. So if you want to look into that. Mist pass. I don't know what that means. So to recap, try adding more depth to your materials, some extruders here and there. This has to be some sort of gate. I can't imagine a spaceship with a what's it called when you go into a road and it has no way out? An empty corridor. So add some sort of mechanism to open the gate on the inside. Try looking into Blender Guru's tutorial for the sci-fi corridor. Dead end, yeah. And for lamps and lights, try mixing two emissive materials with slightly different colors and using a Fresnel node. Alright, thank you for your third submission, Vector. You're always welcome to show up. Next one we have Tammy with he said something. It was experimenting with balls, I believe. So you got an image in the background for space, looks stunning, very pretty. And you model some spheres with normal maps and maybe roughness maps too to create planets. One thing, the light goes into here, the light goes into here, but over here the light's shallower. Now I imagine those planets are on the same solar system, so this guy has to be way far that line to have different shading. So this guy is super big. I imagine this is your sun here, so it's like over there. The effect you created here is beautiful. I don't know how to do that myself. How would I do that? I would have a circle or sphere with a super high emissive material, but it desaturates into yellow here. So instead of using white, you must be using the temperature node. Composition has some flare effects, but if you were using that, you'd have some more circles and squares here and more rays. Yeah, how did you do that? Is your texture here a emissive texture? If that would be the case, the white part would be very bright, and it seems to be the case. You're using a fog glow for it to shine like this. That's from the texture itself, but it seems to be made in post-production. judging by the difference in pixels here. Compositor, yeah. You don't know what that is? I can show you if Blender wants to open this time. It's a way of improving your scene after you are done with the render. Okay, Blender decided to open this time. So anytime now. It's loading. I got quite a few add-ons, so it takes a... Oh, okay, okay. Use that in composition, okay. So, I just realized I didn't think anything can improve on this. Huh. Man, it just looks great, really. What could you add or remove? Maybe add some more crates on the planets. You can get a noise texture, not the noise itself, but one of the noise textures you have, the cell or something, and add it to your displacement texture, so you make some holes in the moon you have here. That might improve it a little bit, or at least look more interesting. I feel like you're missing some clouds, but that's not necessary for planets. I think of Jupiter that has a brown streak, then a white streak, then a reddish streak, and it goes mixing up stuff. I'm curious. Planets, and I hope it doesn't show up just the ones we have. Yeah, it's not just a rock texture. A planet is composed of atmosphere, water, air, hydrogen, several chemicals and minerals. So you can't just take a mineral texture and be done, unless it is like marble or granite. Let's look into granite textures. Texture. That could work, but I'm looking for something more devised. What materials have that? Is too bright? No, I like it this way. Shows more of the colors. Iron. Raw iron. Or yeah, like this. This could be a planet. Like that. Different colors on the same structure. Yeah. So raw minerals are ideal for planet texture, I would say. If you guys have other suggestions like that. Maybe magma. Huh. Magma texture. Too fiery. Yeah. Maybe a dying sun. A dying star. not a sun. Could use that kind of texture. Well, yeah. Oh. It looks pretty good, Tammy. You did a good job. So to recap, the only advice I can really give you is to look into raw textures. Raw or textures for the planets. And adding more depth, more holes or craters using noise. Alright, thank you for your submission, Tammy. Next we have Mr. M. My first try on a nature scene. Okay. Now I recognize those mushrooms. Those are from a Gleb video. The guy that mentioned that I sound like Gleb. I think it was a tutorial on baking light maps. And he made the same kind of mushroom, but they weren't blue, they were yellowish. I like the chair over here, looks great. There's a little bridge, it's a little hard to see. I think it's made out of a leaf. So that's genius. The mushroom looks amazing. There's even a... Oh, that's where your texture ends, huh? Either this is part of the texture, if it is, awesome, or your texture ends there. And if that's the case, well, I can't tell. The normal map is gorgeous, especially with the lighting. Underneath, very good. Reminds me of that, I don't know the name, the mushroom creature in Dark Souls. You know, the little guy, the big guys with small legs and small arms that were strong as hell. I really like this scene. Got a good depth of field here. The foreground is not in focus. Oh god, you even have a... I don't know the name of this effect, but... Got some god rays showing. Thing is, why is it only showing here? You should go all the way around. So maybe you faked it somehow. Or it's something else entirely. Yeah, it's really good. You would definitely win a competition. What could you add to improve? I feel like it lacks a bit of color. You got the mushrooms glowing here, but they are kinda nonsensical. You'd imagine some sort of creature lives here. For it to have a little bridge and a chair to sit upon. So maybe add... I feel like a cherry would be great here. So maybe add a little bowl with a cherry. Then it has another bowl here with the other cherry. Or just have one big bowl, a couple cherries, to add some red to it. I get you not wanting to model a character. The music just stopped. Let me just reset. Maybe the effect is just too weak. If this was nighttime, the mushrooms would look 10 times better, for sure. So maybe reduce the lighting, see what it looks like. Try a different HDRI. I assume you're using HDRI based on the high quality of the lighting. That's a good point. This one and the last one are so good, it's hard to find anything to improve upon. That's very true. But there's always something we can say. So yeah, try making the same scene at nighttime. I think the glowing mushrooms will look way better. And yeah, I feel like you could use some red over here. Because you got a lot of brown and a little blue. But no lively colors. If it is a nature scene, I would expect like some forest green grass over there. Maybe a yellow flower. Something lively, something saturated. So to recap, try the same scene at nighttime. I feel like the mushrooms would stand out more. And if you do that, try adding very small circles or spheres with a green emissive shader, a darkish green emissive shader, to emulate fireflies. That'll be amazing. Just a couple here and there. Also try adding a couple elements with saturated colors. Some grass in the background, a yellow flower, a red fruit, something like that. Bob Ross rule, that tree. It's too close up for that tree. A twig maybe. Yeah, maybe a twig over there in the background. Or over here. Yeah, a twig would be a nice add. So yeah, Mr. M, thank you for your submission. Next one we have Trevor, who made a, what I assume is a fox, a furry fox character. Let's see. It seems a little too noisy. Oh right, your image is super low resolution. Like I took a screenshot of Discord to add your name, and it was the same size. I didn't scale this up or anything. So try increasing your resolution. As for the fox itself, I got some references here. Let me speak and then show the examples. I feel like your fur is too fuzzy on the cheeks here, and the cheeks are too pointy. They go out way too much. Usually fox have like this kind of facial structure, and then the nose. So the fur would not stand out straight like that. It would go over here and then down. Basically, you take whatever you did with your hair and add them to the cheeks to have it look more natural. I know your ears are super big, but that's okay. I think it's a creative choice and it looks good. Fox also have hairs inside their ears, just like cats, and I know most people don't like doing that, but it's not a lot of work, really. You just need a plane and very few particles to have it done in the white material. Now, as for the real life examples of foxes, you can see here that the fur goes down. It needs to follow gravity. And here you can see the hairs inside the ears. They don't have very pointy ears. Let me check yours again. And they always have a little bump there. You have a very slight one, so maybe try and just breaking in a little extra step. Yeah. And here's another one. Iris is too crowded, you say. That's a lot of noise on the iris. That's true. It's too aqua-ish. Let me just check. What is the shape for a fox eye? It looks like it's the same as a cat. So round and then snake eye. But of course, when it is night, they expand their pupils. Do it like that. I believe the furry community adds white to the eyes to be more human, but animals don't have that part. I mean, they have, but it's further back, their eyes. I feel like you don't need this black outline. You could just make the blue darker there. Yeah, I feel you really lack a gradient here. It's just the same color and a lot of noise. And you will rarely find irises. They have just one color. They usually mix two. I can even show you. Go here and show iris. I didn't know that was a plan. Huh. Iris. This is a brown eye. You can see some darker colors over here. Blue eye with some orange and some green. Same thing. A green eye with some yellowish. Maybe this is gray. They always mix extra colors, especially on light colored eyes. The browns and blacks, they can be just the same, but you add a little red or a little light brown, you know. It feels natural. So try looking into that. I feel like this is the kind of texture you could use that will look really good. Alright, so let's recap. You got your cheeks are way too pointy, so we'll try reducing your cheek size and then replicating the top hair here on the cheeks so it falls down a little bit. It has to respect gravity. And a little extra nuke, a visible one. Well, not like it follows the curve and smoothly becomes bigger. Just chook. Like that on the ear. And look into iris colors for your eyes. They mix more than one color. Also, just noticed, it seems you're trying to maintain the snake eye thing while expanding the pupil. It actually becomes round. They have the eye here, but they don't expand on the z-axis, if you catch what I mean. They just expand on the x. And the scale overall. So that's all I gotta say. Thank you for your submission. Oh yeah, one important detail that I always like to buzz people over. And a highlight. Highlights are cool. So cute. So yeah, thank you. Next one we have Nerda. And he added an extra pose. Let me just catch that. We don't want to miss out on anything. This helps. I was gonna say something. So, first, your lighting setup is good. I know that background isn't HDRI. Don't try to fool me. But you got a little glow for your headlamps. That looks cool. That's the fog glow I was talking about before. I can see some flat shading here, which is weird. I'm gonna guess that you own hard-ups and you just press Q and everything is kind of smooth. You gotta get into your object and remove some of the blue lines it adds. It usually gets some edges wrong. You don't own hard up, so how did you do this? Sharp edges? Yeah, you can use auto smooth and mark some edges as sharp, but then wait, you don't got the money for hard ups? You can get it for free by winning a competition at the Blender Discord. Yeah. It's the prize every time. As for your arms, they feel a little short for me in this pose. Let's take a look at the other one. Here they feel a little more natural. I don't know if you expanded them, or maybe the Gatling guns come out. That must be it. The Gatling guns come out. What else? You got some tubes here, but the inside seems to be covered in plastic too. So try adding a center core made of metal, the same material as those tubes. The feet, great. Looks like it cannot actually move. He needs to bring this back, so there must be some sort of sphere or circle over here. Over here, huh, that's weird. Seems to be some clipping, because he needs another rotating thing over there. Yeah, there's definitely clipping over there. So I recommend you take the feet, move them down. Okay, it's getting a little too crowded. Take the feet, move them down a little bit, and add a sphere on top, or a wheel like this, so you can go back and forth. They're the same? Huh. Okay, so they are the same, huh? Maybe it's just the angle then. They do feel super short here. But here it's normal. Okay, so it's my mistake. Yeah, your proportions are correct, no need to fix them. I got a cough. Good thing I have a mute button. Now, what else? I like this streak over here. Maybe you can add some more on the rest. I don't like how the kneecap is just a cube. I feel like you can make it more interesting by beveling the top and bottom. So you'd make... Oops, hold on. Trying to make a 3D drawing is complicated, especially using a mouse. You would make this kind of shape. Yeah, for the kneecaps. I feel like this visor here, it could be a little rounder, so it would go out there, you know. Feels too flat. First rig with IK rigging, nice. The first type of rig I learned was with IK, and I couldn't really do anything else. It was so much easier to animate. Over here. This connection is a little confusing. I almost feel like you should remove this pipe. Yeah, I feel like you should remove the pipes on the sides there. Or maybe move them on top here so they go all the way around, and I don't know, maybe A big one goes back here. This region here. Yeah, how does it rotate his torso? Gotta be over here, but there's no cylinder, no circle. So maybe take his whoops. Maybe take his torso. Everything on top of there. Move it up a little bit and add a sphere like that. Little. Come on. Yeah, something like that. So you can rotate. This type of robot reminded me of the drones in Star Wars. So let's look into that. Star Wars drones, the ones that stand out their arms and shoot lasers. I'm never gonna find them, am I? They got a specific name. Star Wars drone types. Droideka? Star Wars Droideka. Oh, I also have a full 360 vid of it. Should I post it? Nah, it's fine. No, not this one. It's one that walks on two legs. Star Wars, Gray, Droid, Biped, I don't know. No. Nope. This guy. This one. What's your name? Blackout Recharge Droid? Alright, send me the link then. Oh, come on. I need to know the type of that droid to find more references. Seriously? No other images? Okay, I guess we're gonna have to settle with this guy. You can see his legs connected to his torso. In the middle, he has a flexible part, it seems. So he could rotate that in a limited way. But yeah, you can see a lot of moving parts all over his body. That's how he can stand out his arm and walk. You got something here with that. I feel like this cube is unnecessary. It's your elbow, but why? So to recap, I feel like you should remove the two pipes on those sides, maybe move them on top here. Your window here, or visor, or whatever, I feel like it should be more rounded. It'd look better if it was like more spherical and some depth to it. Careful with the cubicle parts. A bevel can always help you out in those cases. And add movable parts so your robot can rotate his leg, move his feet, and actually look left and right. Alright, thank you Nerda for your submission. Next one we have Aku Namatata. He's back. Let's see. I can see that his neck is different than the rest. Huh. it was just blocking out the character, so it's fine. Have that seam. Looks really good. The ears especially. Even the back side. Oh yeah, this is definitely an orc or a fat goblin. Okay, it's an orc, fine. Feels like you still have work to do on the arms and hands. But it's great. 4 fingers, nice. They have hooves. Okay, that's a little bizarre. Do we have orcs with hooves? Oh. Orcs with hooves. Is that an actual creature with a specific name? I feel like I saw them on an anime before. In Overlord. No, they must have had feet. Or maybe it was like this, they had always boots on, and I thought they were feet, but yeah. They were hooves. Look at that. Nice hooves. I feel like this skirt should be longer for indecency reasons. Yeah, make this skirt longer. I feel like orcs would always have abs. You find here? They might have a fat belly, but they must have the muscles showing up a little bit. I don't know about this strap here. I always feel like armor, weapons, weapon staffs, weapon straps. Damn, should have a buckle over here so you can remove them more easily. This is gonna become a scroll. I feel like it's in the initial stages, but it already looks neat. The sword is very crude, which fits the team, and I like it. Only thing is that it doesn't look like there's a lot of difference in depth here. In thickness, I should say. Like it starts super thick. Maybe you do. This part is confusing me right here. So it must be thicker on the back of the blade. Oh, he even has armor for his hand. Huh. You can't see it on this side, but you can see the strap. It's just for his hand. If he doesn't have anything securing it to his fingers, that's just gonna be flapping all over the place. Yeah, I feel like the hands are still work in progress. So you must add straps to each finger there if you want to keep that as some sort of hand armor. They show up over here. Or maybe just goes on his hand like that so he can hold it. This is fine. I was thinking maybe a buckle or some sort of insignia. That's fine. And the face is just great. Aku does a really great job when modeling characters. This is also work in progress, you can tell. But yeah, amazing work. Let's recap the feedback I gave you. So if you are gonna have an armor for your hand, you must make sure it is secured to his hand. Right now it's just secured to his wrist, so it's gonna flap all over the place. Therefore you must add a strap to his palm or each of his fingers. I feel like you should make the skirt longer. You know why. And what else? A buckle for the weapon strap. Should be a good idea. Yeah, this is definitely early, so maybe you thought of that and just didn't get to it. That's fine. Anything else? You're missing the straps for the kneecaps, but I'm sure you know that. And yeah, amazing work, Aku. Thank you for your submission. Next one, we have, oh, this is something else I worked on. We have this one by Udaf. Hold on guys, let me just serve myself a little cup of tea. My throat is running a little dry. Alright. Take a sip. Delicious. Okay, this is really good. Nice contrast. Your lighting is orangey and your background is I think it's gray, but I have a little blue perception, therefore a nice contrast. Particles are a bit off. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get on to the teddy bear. There's a few mistakes. I really like your flies here. I believe it's just a capsule and 2 planes, but they look really good. Nice twigs, nice leaves, very simple. I think you used the ivy generator here, you cheeky bugger. Good job. Very good flowers here. They are the kind of I forget the name. That kind of flower you don't want. That steals the nutrients from other plants. And then you have this teddy bear. Now, based on the pose the teddy bear is on, I believe you followed a tutorial for that. Maybe not, but I believe so. You have particles with 2 long hair. Maybe you wanted to have fewer hair particles, therefore you make them longer and then you comb them and became a mess. So I recommend you have very short hair particles when you want to have something fuzzy like this. You got it right on the nose and his paws. But because of the long hair, you can't really see his ears over here and his eyes. And his eyes are quite important in this part because they are reflecting the light here. So this one, I feel like I should be more capable of seeing it. At first I didn't even notice the teddy bear. I'm not gonna like this. Then I look into it. So bring the hair length of your particles down, like a lot, and try combing it or just removing the hair around the eyes. You want them to be very visible. Why does it look shiny? The eyes are shiny. They are made of plastic. But it must mean something else. What else looks shiny here? I mean, what is this light source, to be fair? Is it like a... It is orangey, so there must be fire. The bear under the fur. The bear under the fur, you mean like Those things looks white. I feel like you didn't add the material to the bare mesh. You put the particles on top. You just have to make it brown, and you wouldn't have this problem. So I think it didn't add a material, and therefore it default into a diffuse white, and that's why we can see it. Or maybe he was going for a deteriorated effect. So some parts don't have hair and don't have fur, like the stuffing is coming out. That must be it. Another thing, you are definitely missing a nose here. I know the tutorial added the nose, come on. Where's my nose? But yeah. Ooh, this is good. Trees do have that. That kind of moss or old bark. That's nice detail, good job. I really think that's all I can add. A very nice depth of field focusing on that part. So to recap, I like what you did with the flies. I like the contrast between orange and blue or gray. I feel like you're missing a nose for the bear. You should expose the bear eyes a little more, and your hair particle system should have a shorter length for it to look fuzzy. Yeah, thank you for your submission, Udav. That was the last submission I had pre-taken. So now we have 2 more that added after the stream started. So let's go grab them now. This one is from Persian Prince. Nice name, Persian Prince. This is really cool. Oh, it's an astronaut. I thought it was like a liquid ball or something. Yeah, this is way too reflective. You must have like 0 roughness. Never go for 0 roughness. Go for 0.001 at max. At minimum, I should say. And maybe add some edge wear or something. Too reflective. Now, there's something really weird happening to his suit. What is this effect? What is going on here? Do you have some shading errors? Is it all just a bunch of blocks? I don't know. Geometry off. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell. So what happened here is the Persian prince must have taken like a sphere or a plane and then modeled it around to have a helmet. What you should do is grab a sphere, cut it out in half or a little less, and then you gotta scale it down like that for it to be flatter. This way you maintain the consistent reflection. Otherwise you get this effect where you can tell there's a face here, there's a face here, the face going there, the face going over here. It's weird. You could also try pressing W and using the smooth, I can't write with a mouse, and using the smooth function to make it more rounder. There's also a relax. I don't really know if it is better or worse. Just make sure you don't select the edges when doing that, otherwise it's gonna make it it's gonna lose your format. You can see the light's almost cut. Yes. That's all I have to say, really. You got a fog glow. I can tell he has some sort of satellite on his background, but I feel like you should really use a space texture instead. Also, why does he have so many lights if he's not in an interior scene? Those are lamps. Those are fluorescent lamps in a corridor. You can see the corridor here. So you are using an HDRI of an interior scene for a space guy. No, come on. Persian Prince. You know better than that. We look for a couple HDRI space textures, so try finding one and see if that's what you're looking for. Alright, so to recap, get a space HDRI or background texture. Try using that technique about getting a sphere, cutting it in half and then scaling down, or using the smooth function on the W shortcut, and fix whatever is happening with your body here. Alright, thank you for your submission, Persian. Now there's one more, the last one by Mark. And it's another one from a famous tutorial. It's Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, the Avengers version. Let's see. So far, nothing wrong. Yeah, I even like this ground texture. Nice ladder. I feel like this is supposed to be metal, a very strong metal, and it is not reflecting light as a metal. So maybe increase the metalness or reduce the roughness. It might make the top part look a little weird because of the reflections. But yeah, very nice texturing over here. You probably grab it somewhere, because that's something I doubt people would be willing to do, so many doodles for texture. Do I get a hint of subdivision surface? Maybe. That's okay. Now, as for the texture on the handle, it seems to be the same on every little part over here. But I could be wrong. I am wrong. Huh. So this is a cylinder that was properly UV mapped into a wood texture. Yeah, looks really good. The only improvement I can recommend you is making this black background a better gradient. So going from light gray to black or dark gray. Yeah. And changing the texture on the sides of your table here, your turntable. Make it like metal or a darker stone texture. Alright. Thank you, Mark, for your submission. And that's it. Guys, thank you all so much for watching the Blender Roast. I hope my feedback was useful and that you can improve based on that. Next week we're gonna have Rye Bread doing the Blender Roast, so make sure you submit on the submission channel. if you're not on our Discord and you'd like some feedback for your Blender renders or a render from somewhere else, you can do so by joining the Discord here. If you want to know who I am and look at my portfolio or whatever, you can find me here. I also do some streams on Twitch if you want to see me modeling or whatever. But yeah, I don't really know what's the time for Ryan, but he's gonna make an announcement right after I'm done here. So yeah, guys, I will see you all next time, and yeah, hope you have a wonderful day. Bye everyone. Bye.